Hey y'all, welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. I'm Melissa and we are in the Meat Bird production barn. These Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens are 13 days old. Hey y'all, let's get the camera turned around. We're actually doing a show and tell and share Saturday on the little farm. Our little poultry farm is here at our happy little homestead in rural Southeast Ohio, USA, and we love to show y'all how we go about raising Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens to produce real good chicken. And real meat that is good quality is really relevant to all of us in this day and age. I'm seeing so much about plant-based meat and lab-grown meat and 3D printed meat. And this stuff is all being pitched as edible. You know, if you want to eat vegetables, I say just eat vegetables. Let the cows and the pigs and the chickens turn the vegetables into meat. And if you're going to eat meat, just eat real meat. Eat the real thing. Find a local producer, wherever local is for you, and eat real food. If it's vegetables, eat real vegetables. If it's meat, eat real meat. But real meat comes from real animals, and real good meat comes from real animals raised with good, solid livestock management practices. So this isn't the only way you can raise meat chickens, but it's the way we do it. And we say, if you find a way that works for you, don't let anybody shake your resolve. Do what you do it to the best of your ability, and keep doing it. It's like, who said it? Make sure that you're right and go ahead. Y'all know who said that? Little Alamo history, little Texas history. How about Mr. Davy Crockett? But that's basically the premise of what he said. Be sure that you're right and go on ahead with the thing. So that's how we feel about the way we raise meat birds. There's other ways to do it. There's pasture raising them. There's chicken tractor raising them. We use a confinement system in a barn. They still have plenty of room. We use a healthy stocking density, and we make sure they're fed with complete nutrition. We make sure they stay hydrated with fresh water all the time. We got four-wheeler in the background, but we're going to keep rolling. But in this May 4th, 2024 show and tell and share, we are going to take another look at the chicks, show you a change in their pen, and tell you about the changes that are coming, talk a little bit about the temperature situation today. And then before we wrap up, we want to tell y'all about some YouTube channels that we like. I hope you'll check them out. Hope you'll give them some feedback. Also going to show you some ag industry reading material that we enjoy here. It's kind of particular to our area of the world, area of the country, United States of America, and show you one of our favorite simple products that we use every day. We will share with you where we get it. It's local, but hopefully inspires you to source that same kind of product local from somebody who produces it where you are. So very common product, very simple, but has lots of great practical uses to it. So anyway, so let's get rolling back with the chickens. Hey, thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me here at Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. This channel is just our little outreach of encouraging people to have an awareness of local producers in their own area and seek out those local producers to try to source your food from them as much as you possibly can. Because listen, y'all, America and the world and consumers need agriculture, but likewise, agriculture needs consumers. Literally, when you source food and things that you use in your household from farmers, from producers, you literally could be saving a farm. I know here in my country, the statistic is only 1 or 2% of the population in America is engaged directly in farming for food production or in like crop production of grains that go into livestock feed. So less than 2% of the population. And I've said before in other videos, of that 2% or less that's producing food, most of those households and families are incorporating an income stream that's from an off-farm job or off-farm venture in order to contribute to sustaining their farming lifestyle and paying the bill. Because we've talked about, like with these chickens, they look like a little animal. You can't imagine it costs much to raise them, but for us, we got some flocks coming up in the summer, about 425 birds in a flock, doing that 3 times back to back. We are estimating and being conservative with with our expenditures, estimating $5,000 a flock to get them in and out the door from hatch to harvest. And so then, if the idea is we want to make a little bit of profit margin on that, well, you can run numbers. You know where I'm coming from, and you know where we're headed with that. So anyway, let's roll. Let's take a look back at the chickens, get on with the channels and simple product that I want to share with you, and then we'll head into the next week. So hope y'all get a day off. We take Sunday off, and of course we got to take care of livestock, but we try to take Sunday off from everything else that we can, and from the YouTube we also take Friday off, because it's great to have this media to connect with other people in other areas of the world, but it's also very important for all of us, you, me, everybody, to connect in those real relationships right where we are in our communities. So thanks for joining me, y'all. Really appreciate you. We have the best viewers. We're over 800 subscribers now. We're over 800 subscribers now. We are trying to get to 1,000 plus subscribers, and then we're going to reassess and we're going to go from there. But we have awesome viewers. We do occasionally get some feedback that is difficult to deal with, or trying to be negative, but overall that's just the tiniest percentage, and the viewers that interact with our channel, abundantly blessed. We're abundantly blessed. We get a lot of value from the input that y'all add to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry, the YouTube channel. So thanks so much. So some specifics on this flock. Let's talk about some things where we're at. Okay, so there's 124 of them. Pardon me, I just bumped into my own short wall. So we have this short wall on the front, what we call the front, where we can walk in and out of their pen. We called this a walk-in brooder when we moved these chickens in. They are 13 days old, actually. I'm calling them 2 weeks old, but they are 13 days old. 124 of them now. We did start with 126. I'm sorry to say we lost 2. That's unfortunately often part of the process. So we really are at a point with these birds now. We'll get in the pen again and try to get a little closer to them with the camera. But we really are at a point with these birds now where we would say they are finishing the starting phase of growing, of production, and we would call these in the growing phase. So these birds here are resting. They're resting together. They're leveraging a little bit of body warmth as well, and that's why they're in a group like this. We have 9 heat lamps on. We've been able to turn our heat lamps off during the day. Why are the heat lamps on? Ambient temperature. So these chicks at about 2 weeks old, our reference point for what ambient temperature do they really want is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so our daytimes have been pushing that here in the last week. So we actually have been able to just have about 8 heat lamps on overnight and then unplug them all for the daytimes. But now today is still hovering around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So we want to have the doors open to allow good airflow, good air exchange in here, great ventilation. It's good ventilation in this barn even with the doors closed, but it's better air exchange with the doors open. So we wanted to be able to have the doors open for the daytime, because it's kind of overcast, rainy, humid, and having those doors open helps with the airflow. So having those open though also allows a little more temperature flux inside here. And so when I turned the lamps off this morning, then the birds responded by showing me they were kind of cool. They clumped up like this, but worse, where they were sort of like pressing on each other and piling on each other in the corners. So we decided to go ahead and turn some lights back on. Fortunately, they have enough room to leave the warm spots if they get too warm, and they can go get cooler. And these birds are they're laying on their sides resting. Like when you see this one, there's nothing wrong with that bird. It's just resting. Okay, same here. So anyway, so we have these heat lamps on to create ambient warmth to make them more comfortable, because at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, honestly, Cornish rock cross meat chickens that are 2 weeks old are on the cool side. at that temperature. So you can see, you know, they have enough room. They can pick if they're comfortable with that microclimate over there where those transport crates are making a temporary wall, they can be there. If they prefer to be a place where there's more warmth targeted at them, they can be there. So they sort of have, even though they're in confinement, they have the freedom to choose the microclimate they want to be in. Okay, so we still are in what we call the baby waters. That will probably be changing in the next 3-4 days or so. Okay, we have 7 gallons of water in here. So we've increased actually the water we're keeping in here. I'd say we refill these about twice a day. So probably this flock is going through about 21 gallons of water every 24 hours or so. And we want to keep that water fresh. We want to keep it where they're drinking it and it's not becoming stagnant and unpalatable to them. Okay, feeders. So we're in the we call these baby feeders. We're in the baby feeders. We're filling those at least twice a day. But so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 8 of these in here. We're filling them at least twice a day. We've actually used 3 full bags of feed. So 13 days in, they've completely eaten 150 pounds. And what's down on the floor now is equaling 200 pounds that's been given to this flock. Now, we are at a stage where they're consuming that feed quick enough. We're ready to be able to have more feed capacity in the pen with them. So what we're doing is we're starting to make a switch, a shift, a transition from baby feeders to, we call these big bird feeders. Real technical terms around here, right? We call these big bird feeders. So we've got these metal ones, and we also have some plastic ones. But we do find these metal ones are easier for them to reach their beaks and necks into the trays. So we always start with the metal ones. And once we see, and we've got some over there, eating out of the metal tray. Once we see that the birds understand these metal feeders contain feed, and once we see that they are willing to eat out of those trays, then we'll go ahead and put more of these feeders in here. And as we get more of these feeders in here, we'll take all of these feeders completely out. And we've actually had to raise those. They're just on pieces of scrap wood, but they were on just a single piece of scrap wood. And we added a second one, I believe yesterday, when they were 12 days old, to get a little more height on those, because they were coming up to those and sitting down to eat. And there's one perching on top of it. And we want them standing. We want them standing to eat, and we want them standing to drink. We want them doing that so that they're keeping the legs strong as they're growing and as they're getting bigger, because then when they're in the finished stage, we need them to have strong legs to be able to hold themselves up, because meat birds grow fast now and then they grow faster later. So they've got to basically be doing some strength training on those legs. And see, that one could sit down and it figured out it could still reach it. So, you know, we gradually have to just try to keep up with their growth and keep them standing up at the feeders, and we try to compel that by raising the height a little bit. So anyway, though, as far as the feed, as we get the big feeders in, the little feeders will go out. And even back there, you can see a few of the ones with the red lids closest to us are the big waters, and they hold 5 gallons apiece. There's another big feeder. Behind the big waters are the plastic feeders. And so if you can imagine, you can see these crates. Those are hanging on the wall. These are making a temporary wall basically here. They're standing up instead of laying flat like we'd use them when we haul birds. But if you can imagine, okay, the size we're looking at here, and then when we get out to 35 days, so just like 5 weeks, we expect to have about 8 to 10 birds fill that crate. Okay, so you can imagine lots and lots of little birdies could fit in there at this size at about 2 weeks old. And in just 3 more weeks, we're saying these birds are going to grow to the point where maximum 10 is going to fit in there, but we're hoping about 8 birds maxes that crate out as far as fitting birds in there. Okay, So that's what we're up to with the birds. But they'll continue to grow, and the rate that they grow at is going to continue to increase, and correspondingly the rate that they consume food at also continues to increase the bigger they get. But you can see outdoor temperature about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. For the most part, the birds are demonstrating that they are appreciative of having the supplemental warmth. And this group, even though it's not laying in the supplemental warmth, we can tell that they are leveraging group body warmth to stay comfortable, right? So I'm going to step back over that wall. The rain is picking up. We have all metal roofs, so we get that noise off of that. But these birds will gradually fill this back in because they are appreciating having the warmth there to add to their comfort. So I'm going to try to watch where I'm stepping. There we go. Thanks for staying with us. Woo! It's getting loud. It's getting loud. See, and they're responding to that noise. Y'all are seeing kind of the zoomies, the chicken zoomies, and that's why we're getting this excess noise on the metal roof, and they're responding to that. So they'll be okay. It's just, we'll just have to let the rain play itself out. It will. But see how as they get active too, then what happens is they go to food and they go to water. And then as things calm down, they'll rest again. But I can't make that any quieter. I can't make that any quieter by turning or by shutting the doors. So we might as well leave it open. But y'all can probably tell the extent of the rain back here. But I want to show you a couple products that we use. Well, one product that we use all the time. I'm going to show you two examples, and it's something that is so everyday and so simple, and that I'm sure you can get from somebody who makes it local to wherever you are, that we encourage you to seek somebody out. Do y'all use honey in your everyday routines? If you do, let us know what your recommended uses for honey are, what's your favorite way to use them, and I want to show you my favorite two sources and examples of honey that we are using at our house. So, first of all, we've got this little honey bear. So this one is called Hayesville honey. We have friends who make it right here. They live in the same town we do, so this is very local to us. Definitely within 20 miles, probably even closer, is where his hives are. So I'm about to the end of this one, and I've had it about a year, because when we get honey from them, I try to get as much as I can. So several jars, but there's a little bit left still that I'll be using. And then this one we got actually at a farmer's market last year. It's also very local to us. I'm sure it's within 20 miles of our home, but this one is from Fox Ridge Run, and they called it chunk honey because it has some of the honeycomb in it. So as we finish the honey, we're going to also consume the honeycomb that is in it. But Hayesville honey and Fox Ridge Run honey are my two favorite kinds of honey. Most common way I use honey is I put it in tea. So that's the sweetener that I use in tea that I make by like the single cup or specifically for myself. The household still likes granulated sugar in the like the pitchers of sweet tea that we use, but I like honey. And then I am forever saying to the household, if they have something like, oh, they've got a scrape or they've got a nick on their skin or something, a mild, very mild wound or cut or scrape, once we know it's clean, I'm forever saying, put honey on that to heal it. So I believe in the healing properties of honey. I'm not saying that I have any proof or backing behind that, but I know from my own experience when I use it, it helps heal minor skin cuts, scrapes, wounds, irritations. So we use honey a lot that way. Do y'all ever do that? Let me know what your favorite uses of honey are, but we use it on skin irritations and minor wounds, and I use it all the time in my tea and as a sweetener. So tell us what you use. And then I want to show you this agriculture paper. Now this is, I would say this is pretty specific to where I live, like for Ohio and Pennsylvania, but it's called Farm and Dairy, and you can find it online at farmanddairy.com. This one is actually like a week old, a little over a week old, but I want to get caught up on it and get to read this article here, and I want to get to read this. And then my favorite section in this paper is around the table. It always has great recipes and some things that we can try out to use. And they always have another section called Vacation with Us, and like readers send in a picture, a still shot of them wherever they're vacationing, holding their farm and dairy. So they don't have a YouTube with us section in here, but today we're YouTubing with Farm and Dairy. So just doing that for our own fun. Here we don't get anything or any material goods for any of the products or things that we show y'all, but Farm and Dairy is one of our favorite ag industry publications. It is specific to our part of the world, Ohio, USA, and Pennsylvania, USA. So did I get to share with you, here we are at the tail end, and I didn't get it done. Did I get to share with you channels on YouTube that I am enjoying? No, I didn't. So I'm going to put them right here. Also going to put links and a little mention of them in the description and in the comments. So I've got three. I've got a new one for you. I hope I pronounce this correctly. Himes Family Farms. And they also have Himes Hens online, but on YouTube, Himes Family Farms. And so it's spelled H as in horse, E-I-M-E-S. Himes Family Farms. If I mispronounced it, give me a shout out if you know how to pronounce it correctly. But really enjoying that channel. And so the videos I've watched on that channel included the hatching process with chicks in the eggs in the incubator, and all the video takes it all the way through to the end after the chicks are hatched, and shows us the eggs that didn't end up hatching. So it's a really neat video. Also saw some videos on there of some rare kind of cattle breeds at auction, and you'll want to check it out. Himes Family Farms. My impression is it's an American farm, American channel, so I'll double check, I'll check into that. But Himes Family Farms, check them out. And I'm going to shout out to Lane there at Himes Family Farms, and just tell you really enjoying your videos, enjoying your channel. Keep up the great work. So also want to mention, and we'll put a link to 2 other channels that I'm keeping up with. Farmer Always out of Canada, shout out to you, Tanya. Hope you're doing well. Saw your video this morning of the Momma Cow with the twins, and I'm thinking of you. Hope that all goes well and works out. And a shout out to Chimma's Chicken Coop. And so Chimma's shows us a live stream format of his chicken coop with his hens and roosters, as well as has been live streaming with chicks that have hatched from an incubator. So so a lot of neat things to see. Chimma's is out of Germany. Chimma's Chicken Coop out of Germany. Farmer Always is out of Canada. Check them out. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, viewers and subscribers. We hope you'll give the video a thumbs up. We'd love it if you like it, and we appreciate your feedback in the comments. Going to finish with 2 little hand tools for our honey that I want to show you, and then we'll look at the birds to finish up. Thanks for joining us. The rain is so loud, but we're getting what we get. Too bad we're getting it right now. Our guys were hoping, Mr. Twin Oaks, my husband, was hoping to get corn crop planted and get spring planting finished. They've got soybeans, spring soybeans planted and finished, and that's done. They were hoping to get corn done. This is going to set us back a few days, but farmers roll with the punches. Whatever the weather is, we work with it. So, okay, so check this out. A couple honey tools. I use this dipper in here, and I use this, like I'll squeeze that onto here and put that in my tea. So try to use wooden tools and not metal tools with your honey. And we're going to just let the camera roll on the birds. Let it roll up to 25 minutes, and then we're going to shut it down and press stop. God bless y'all. Thanks for joining us. eat real food, heart local ag, and support your local farmers.